Hello, hello, everybody, and welcome. Actually, today's Boxing Day. It's my day. Already, we're just starting off the chain. All right, let me be official for just one moment if I can. So, welcome everybody to the third annual 12 Days of Christmas. Now, I feel like I have to start right off the bat and say it's a theme. This really has nothing to do with Christmas. What it has to do for me, it's about the holidays. And I just try to give a little bit of a recap, and then each night it kind of is less and less because I feel like hopefully you caught the first one and you get the gist of it by the time you're with us every evening. But 3 years ago now, 2 years ago, I just kind of found myself always scrambling with the holidays, retail, being so blessed to take care of everybody else's holidays and everybody else's gifts. And I don't do well stopping, right? Like stopping and enjoying. And then so I do it to myself. But next thing you know, it's like days before the holiday and I'm scrambling to get my own personal stuff done. And I just felt like I was missing the opportunity to force myself really to just take pleasure in friends and family and what this season, right? It's not the holiday, what this season is all about. And the humorous part of it is so many people in our knitting industry, which what we're doing in these 12 days really, it has a lot to do with knitting, crocheting, textiles, but it doesn't necessarily have to. But so many of our people do like these advents, right? And I'm like, there's no way I can be that pre-planned. There's just nothing in my life that would allow me for that. But I'm like sort of jealous. Everybody's got these themes and you're opening something every day. And so I thought, what can I do? What can I do? And I just came up with this idea of calling it the 12 Days of Christmas. Now, mind you, also really had no idea what the 12 Days of Christmas was. I just knew it was something, had to Google it. Educate myself on that. I have no problem telling you because I think it's pretty much 50-50. If I polled this group here, I mean, maybe like 60-40, but if you poll the majority of people, nobody really knows what the 12 Days of Christmas is. And a lot of people think it's the 12 days leading up to Christmas. Now, it actually is supposed to have started on Christmas, but bless us all, I was not going to be Zooming on Christmas evening because we do dinner on Christmas evening. Because when you have a farm, you need to work all day and then you wait for nightfall, and then that's when you get to enjoy your festivities. So we are now going to Zoom for 12 days to celebrate, if you will, the season and the theme of the 12 days of Christmas, ending with a big party at the end. And for me, I wanted to take the opportunity to be able to engage with people, some people I know, some people I don't know, and that's the beauty of it. So this is just fun, casual conversations that end up being interesting, educational, but we gotta like jazz it up a little bit. So as I've gotten better about this each year, we have organized different collaborations, different drops, sneak peeks. So it's kind of like if you're here, if you're with us, you're like in the know, and lots of fun stuff coming down the pike. Now, with that said, there's like always some homeworky things that I'll be sure to let you know off the top and then continue to remind you as well throughout. And this night in particular, I am with my dear friend, girl, Kimberly McAlindin. I hope many of you know who she is and the work that we've done together in the past several years as well as years prior. But I still have to feel like I'm going to take the mindset that there might be people on that don't know who you are or what you do. And part of this platform is for you to be able to also let people know about yourself. And I'll kind of try to pretend I don't know you, but I'm going to give you maybe 10 minutes, to fill us in on who you are, what you do. And then everyone knows that when it comes to you and I, it's just going to kind of roll off like a freight train from there. But we do have some really important things that we need to share with everybody. So thank you. Thank you. Kimberly, by the way, guys, is my only reoccurring guest for every 12 Days of Christmas. I do have one other reoccurring guest this year, but Kimberly is a mainstay. And actually, this is the first time though you're kicking it off for me, and I thank you so much for that.
Oh, my pleasure. I hope there's people here that don't know me.
No, right? Don't you always? I mean, that's the whole point of it. And I think
Yeah,
sometimes
I mean,
people feel bad about that, but that's the whole point of this. So
I
yeah,
think that would be great.
Yeah, I was gonna say use the chat too, guys. I mean, even though we're not having this as an open forum, like drop in the chat and let us know. You could be like, I have no idea who the hell she is.
Yeah, put that in there if you don't. I think that's super fantastic. My name is Kimberly McAlindin, and I am a knitwear designer, and I am a YouTube podcaster. And in my early life, I was a designer for big bucks yarn like Red Heart and Karen International, Taki Stacy Charles. And so I have been a crochet. I first started out as a crochet designer, and then I was a crochet instructor, and I was very involved in the crochet. Well, I what's it called? Crochet Guild of America.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And
Wait, it
that's
was
where we
the
met.
knit, the knit. That was when it was the Knit and Crochet Guild, right?
It was the CGOA, the Crochet Guild of America, where we met the first time in New Hampshire, right?
New Hampshire, yeah, Concord, I think.
Nashua.
Oh, all right. Look at that.
And so I did those shows and started designing for knitting, sorry, for crochet. And then I, let everyone know in the industry that I have been knitting since I was 10. And so I became a knitwear designer as well. And then I was the editor-in-chief of Knit 123 and Crochet 123 magazines. And then uh, and then I broke up with knitting for a while. Uh,
I love when you say that.
when I broke up with it. Yeah. But what I love about this industry is that, well, not even the industry, just the act of knitting and crocheting is that it's always there, right? Like an old friend that you can just call on the phone and chat with, like no time has passed. And that's what happened with me when my mom was sick. I started knitting again in the hospital with her. And then sadly, she had a very deadly cancer. And, start to finish, it was 5 months till she went on her next grand adventure. And so I tell the story of Knit a Rainbow all the time. The very brief version is that I was knitting a shawl, and then it was gray, and my mother woke up from a surgery and she said, "What are you knitting?" And I said, "Oh, I'm knitting a shawl." And she said, "Who's it for?" I said, "Oh, it's for me." And she said, "Do you love that color?" Which was my mother's total passive aggressive way of being like, "Girl, that color is not right for you." And I said, "Well, it's gray, there pops of chartreuse every once in a while." And she closed her eyes and she said, "Honey, when life is hard and days are gray, knit a rainbow." And I didn't know it at the time, but she was actually giving me the tools that was going to help me to learn how to live life without her. For 48 years, I had my beautiful mother, and I did everything that she told me to do. So I kind of had to figure out how to live life without her. And so Knit a Rainbow was born. My website is knitarainbow.com. And so is my YouTube channel, Knit a Rainbow. My favorite thing, I'm finishing up with Vlogmas. I have one more video to go. Yeah, it was really fun this year. And my favorite thing is coming on and teaching you to get your knits or crocheted items to look the way you want them to look. And whether that is helping you figure out gauge, helping you figure out a pattern, teaching you how to bind off so that your last stitch doesn't look wonky, all these little things so that you get what you want. And because it because the act of knitting is in the deepest, darkest depths of my despair and my grieving was the only thing that got me out of bed. Not my amazing husband, who was amazing, and not my children, not my dog. It was knitting. It was the act of knitting and the act of creating that got me out of bed. And so that's me. So my
And
Vlogmas, the cool thing about my Vlogmas, which I think it was cool, I hope, people thought it was cool, was that I had tutorials a lot. So whatever I was knitting, the things that I wanted to, that I was working on whilst, I was doing it, I was showing tutorials. And
well,
then
and I want to say, I went to Kimberly's house, I don't know, last week, or I can't remember, because one of the things was that, well, I just really wanted to get away. But I also had to bring her yarn, but I could have stuck it in the mail for sure. And I really wanted to be able to just see what Kimberly was doing behind the scenes. Because one of the things I poke fun of myself at is, yes, we're recording this, yes, it's going to get, uploaded to my YouTube channel. But as I always say, my YouTube channel is kind of lame and it's okay. But I wanted to get a little more background information. I wanted to learn a little bit more from Kimberly, because it is no small task to be able to try to, create these videos of snippets of your day and then put it all together and edit it and add music. And I'm lucky if I can even just do a reel sometimes, right? But that was my reason for going and seeing all of it. So it was really cool to kind of like see it behind the scenes, but at the same time, cool to just be there and hang out and be able to spend a little time off the farm, which I always welcome. So, and I want to say thank you to everybody too. I see the chat going and I see people conversating back and forth. I do want to say off the top, I tend not to pay attention to it because I want to kind of stay engaged and with my conversation. So please don't ever think that I don't appreciate everything that's happening over there, because that's what this is all about. And a lot of, Kimberly and my story, and like we broke up too. And then we got back together. So, there's all these journeys. And I was telling Kimberly the other day, I got into some bizarre project. I was actually looking for something. I don't know if you ever get into this, but I was looking for something and I was hell bent on trying to find it. It was a folder that had no other reason to disappear, not that important in the scheme of life, but I was like, I need to find it. But what it forced me to do was to go through piles of paper that were sitting on a shelf and then just discarding stuff that I had absolutely no reason to be holding on to. But one of the things that I came across were invoices from you from, it was either 2012 or 2013. And I just got the biggest giggle out of it. I should have saved one and brought it for this. But that's how far, we went back in the beginning in terms of when we first met and the work we did then and the work we're doing now. And for those of you, if you don't know our journey, also a lot of it was coming together over, Kimberly having lost her mom and then her hearing that I had lost my mom. And, through that unfortunate grief, if you will, that's what brought us back together again. And for me also, not that I rely on my knitting, because we all know I don't spend a lot of time doing that, but for me, this community, right, was what kept me going. And just like you said, your knitting was what got you out of bed every day. This community that, I had established even more so during COVID, literally was what made me put one foot in front of the other each time. So for anybody that doesn't value what we all do here and the power of the friendship and the community and textiles and all of us that are makers, it's amazing. And whether women, men, that we all just kind of come together and support each other. So obviously in two different ways, we both have similar stories and have a lot to be thankful for, all the people that we get to share our time with.
yeah, very, very, very true. Very true.
So, all right. I mean, we're going to keep things like, do you feel like you got in everything you wanted to get in to tell people about you?
Yes.
All right. So then, how is your holiday?
Virgo, I married my sweetheart. We went to the prom
Color
together.
is.
He's adorable.
Oh, where is Hank? I know
That's
all of a
my
sudden.
husband.
Oh, I know, but I just thought of Hank.
Hank downstairs with my husband.
Oh, all right. All right. Well, I know Mac is cool too, but all of
Yes.
a sudden I was just like, Hank, he's like a figure in all of the things that you do, and he's on your Vlogmas every day because
Oh,
people.
he's adorable. He's also adorable.
Yeah.
Hank is downstairs with so I have two of my three children home, and he is hanging out with all of them downstairs.
Good, good. Well,
My studio is in my attic, so
well, and that's the other thing too. What I think is amazing is how beautiful it looks. And then it's so funny, not to say that it doesn't look beautiful, but like when you then see the behind the scenes, right? And in terms of like the backdrop and all of that, it's really fun, I think, to like kind of get that view and see that view. And how realistic it looks too, because that's not a white brick wall behind her.
I know it was so funny when you came up and you were like, "Wait, that's what it looks like?" Because like you're sitting on your porch, like that's what it looks like, like. But mine here, I'll show everybody. If you wanna look, I'm just gonna pan. So I'm up in my attic. There's an right there. There's my Diet Coke that I'm living off of. So when you look at it, hello. Oh, this is if you want to get the shot.
Oh my God, I was just about to say, whenever I'm doing lives, are we all like our arms are up in the air? Well, it
All right.
looks amazing and it looks beautiful nonetheless. But yeah, I think when you get to see the actual like realistic behind the scenes, it's pretty cool too. And I
Yeah.
think those are things, I don't know about anybody else, but also when I'm like looking at or trying to think about different things that I'm doing, sometimes you do want to know like, how does that person do it? Or how do they get this? And there's some people that I follow and I shared this with you. I'm like, okay, look, there's this other person I follow. She's got a real farm, right? Like we talk about it, sheepishly me. Love. I even have a farm. Love following her. But I am like, I literally want to be like, excuse me, could you tell me how you manage to like stop what you're doing, get these videos when you're actually like running a working farm, then finding the time to put it all together. But yet it's so cool. And it's so cool to watch.
Now,
So
I
there's
love
so much to learn outside of course, everything that we just do in terms of knitting and crocheting and all of that kind of stuff. So which one do you like better?
what do you mean?
Knit or crochet?
Oh, oh, I couldn't say that's like your children, which
Which one did you learn first?
knitting. I was in fourth grade. I was 10 years old.
All right.
It was
And
an
for anybody too, mind you guys, if you saw me before taking some notes, don't forget the wrap up party. There are trivia questions to somewhere in the middle of all of this. I've got to find something that you really had to be listening to in order
I'd say I was in fourth grade.
to. Who taught you?
Yeah, I wish it was an after school program, and I wish I could remember her name because I have no idea.
And I don't think I knew this answer. I mean, that's the thing. As much time as
Yeah,
you.
it was a mother. So it was called Beyond School Explorers, and it was like going into spring. It was 8 weeks. So every Friday it was an hour after school. And I remember going with my mom to pick out the yarn and the needles, size size 8 boy straights. They were blue, and then some variegated yarn. And there were 4 people in the class. And the cool thing is that my children actually went to that same school, and they still had the program. And so I signed up, and I actually was teaching third and fourth graders how to knit. So the world is a circle.
Yeah, I don't think I ever asked you how or why you started. So, did anybody in your family knit or crochet?
My grandmother did. My mother never did, but she was very crafty. But she never knit or crochet, but my maternal grandmother did.
And so, when you learned when you were 10, did you
Yep.
stick with it? Like, did you stick,
Um,
like, I mean, as a kid, so did you really stick with it the whole time? Did you put it down a little bit, pick it back up again?
I stuck with it. I used to make so it was kind of like what the American Girl doll is now, but in the 80s, it was called a Jenny doll or a Mandy doll. Mandy was what was the blonde, and Jenny was the brunette. And so I had the Mandy doll, and I used to make her sweaters and blankets and skirts, and I just kind of I just used to wing it. I never knew about a pattern or anything like that. And so I just kind of figured it out. And that I think, if you had to pick your superpower, that is one of the things that I've always been able to do. Even before I was a designer, I always was very interested in the way clothes were constructed. Um, I could go shopping for clothes and I would go not to try them on, but to like see where the seams were and like this. I don't know. Maybe I in another life I had done it, but I didn't go to FIT or anything. I went to college for psychology. I actually went to college because my parents made me go to college. I really did not want to do it. I'm glad I did, and it was a wonderful experience. But yeah, I majored in industrial psychology, which was
What
like
did you think that you wanted to do? Or do you think you were just like, you just picked something?
I just picked something because I had to. This is how naive I was in college. I thought if you didn't get it all done in 4 years, you just didn't get a degree. I had no idea like you could keep going. Um, yeah, in fact,
But
on the way,
unfortunately, that keep going costs money, right?
yeah, yes, I mean, yeah, that's kind of ridiculous but I mean, I was very fortunate that my parents did that. But I was crying on the way to school. I went like an hour away from from where I grew up, and I said to my mother left college because my father was 2 years older and he was going to Vietnam. So they got married before he went in case anything ever happened to him. I mean, that was the time, right?
Yeah.
So, we're in this big woody wagon and, 1988, and I'm crying with all my stuff in the back and like, can't believe you're making me do this. And my mom like flipped around and she said, Kimberly, you are so lucky that you get to do this. You have no idea. And I didn't realize, it was all about me those days. And I said, I just want to get married to Chris McAlindin and have his babies. My mother was like she almost lost her mind. But I did do that.
You're like so
I'm
there.
so committed.
That is fortitude. You're like, I set a goal and I'm going to accomplish it.
Exactly. There were a couple boyfriends in between that, but that's what I did.
That's pretty funny. And of course, you guys are still together today. And cutely, might I add, of course.
Oh my gosh. All right.
All
So
right.
yes, that was me. I have no
Cool.
idea where that started.
Well, I don't know because that's what this is all about. And that's what I always tell people. It's funny. Like,
I'm sure the guys from Needle at the Ready are not going to be like talking like this.
honestly, you would be really surprised because, like, I go down some rabbit holes with guests because, like, look, I'm genuinely interested in people. And I purposely, for the people who I don't know, I purposely don't want to, like, think of anything ahead of time. Like, I am really good. Like, my superpower is not knitting or crocheting. It's okay. I can still have a business related to that. My superpower is honestly, I do very well off of improv. I'm just naturally a curious person. And that was the nature of all of this, right? We want to get like some content, but then look how long I've known you. And honestly, that was a story that I've never heard. So, it's just fun because you never know what is going to come out. And I know that that is also what people seem to enjoy about this. We learn a little bit, we have a little bit of fun. Again, it's just like we're all sitting around together, you know, grabbing
Yeah.
a cup of coffee, grabbing a drink, grabbing a tea, grabbing a Diet Coke. Might I add, I just want to share, I have my sugared cranberries with me.
Oh.
They're so, I know, I'm sorry. I had
Oh,
to.
we just finished maybe last week. Tabitha came and we were having something for dinner and she brought homemade applesauce and homemade cranberry sauce and we snacked on that for a couple days afterward and it was so delicious.
And sometimes I'll take, because I'm not like a huge, I like the cranberry sauce, but for me, sometimes I'll take like plain Greek yogurt and then put the cranberry sauce in it and then eat it that way. It kind of like sweetens it
They're
up a little.
delicious.
So, sometimes my idea is like every night I'm gonna like come up with a new like little dessert or something to bring to this. That doesn't always happen, but I managed to make my sugared cranberries, and it's one of the super easy things, but really fun things to do, and it's like super tart but super sweet, and they just pop in your mouth, and they're amazing. So I will
Mm.
try to get that information out in an upcoming newsletter for anybody who thinks that they want to try it. What's your favorite thing to eat or make around the holidays, diet aside,
Yep.
completely self-indulgent? Like, what is a family, like, do you have a family tradition? Is there something that you always do?
We make my grandmother's sugar cookies, and they're like the roll out, cut out kind that you ice. And so we make those. I actually hate the job. I just don't. It just takes so much time.
Oh,
But
make
making them. But Marin this year, so for those of you that don't know, Marin is my 20-year-old daughter. She goes to Virginia Tech, go Hokies, and she's my youngest. So she did that. I cut them out and baked them, and then I made the frosting, and then she decorated them, and they're so beautiful. There
oh,
were I didn't eat any of them though, but they're delicious from what I hear. They're good. Pecan pie is another one of my favorite things.
what is?
Pecan pie or
Oh,
pecan pie.
interesting. There's a lot of people that love that. I gotta tell you, it's not
Yeah.
that I haven't had it. Yeah, I just don't really find I don't know what that hype is all about.
And this year I made um
She's
my
like, ready?
my mom used to make this punch, and it was she had this cookie party. If you watch my vlog, you'll see. But it's like boozy fruit. It's whiskey. You take maraschino cherries and their juice, and uh pineapple chunks and their juice, and the juice of three oranges. I just used orange juice, and cut up an orange, and then you soak all that in whiskey for 48 hours.
Oh, wow.
And then I like had to find my punch bowl for Christmas Eve. You put that in a punch bowl with some confectionery sugar and ginger ale.
The confectionery sugar you put into the punch?
So you take confectionery sugar, and with the liquid that comes off with the alcohol, you mix it up.
Okay.
Make a paste first, and then you add
Oh,
more alcohol so that it sweetens it.
okay.
If you just dump it in, it's just gonna clump on the top and look
Well,
like
that's what I couldn't quite figure out. I'm like, I don't
here,
understand
punch that slice, it's gonna look gross. But
how.
but yeah, so and then you put ginger ale. It was delicious. It was a
Well, I
hit.
tell you what, you're gonna have to send me. So drop this to me because you know what might be fun. I can't guarantee I'm gonna do this all the time, guys. But like, if from every guest I get something, then I can at some point, maybe during the 12 days of Christmas, try it myself. I know I'm watching the chat and I'm absolutely loving everybody going back and forth. We've had some community members that have shared like different recipes. And then when I see other lifers, as I call all of you guys, I see them pick up the recipes and try, and it becomes maybe something that they start to do. Like, I don't know, there's just nothing that makes me happier than seeing people share things like that. And again, that's exactly what this is all about. And actually, I will say, because this is totally random, but this is what this is all about. This recipe for the sugar cranberries is from my dear friend Ellen, who her son was in my llama group like years and years and years ago, and we've managed to stay in touch, stay friends. He's like now married, has a kid. Now, mind you, this kid was in my llama group when he was like in fourth grade.
Oh my gosh.
But Ellen was part of my spinning guild, and she's actually now the president of the spinning guild. So, again, it just like, again, like you said, full circle. Her son was involved in my program. She's a maker involved in textiles, and I met her through the spinning guild. You and I were both spinners. I mean, still. So it's just, again, I think it just always amazes me how much we have to share with each other. And sometimes it's not even about the stuff that we're actually doing relating to
Right.
knitting and crocheting. And sometimes that's the stuff that's more fun. I think more of the comments that I get about the 12 days of Christmas is probably like non-knitting related, that people are just home and smiling and laughing. And, I think too, when I started this is a complete anecdotal, but I think in the beginning I thought like, who's gonna watch this? Because everyone's so busy. Everyone's got so many things to do. But it is this weird gap, right, between Christmas, New Year's, and people do want to take the time to kind of like settle in a little bit. And at the same time, we have to remember that there's people that maybe can't go places, and maybe there's people that don't have places to go. And that is what is so great about everything that we have here together. And now, of course, with Zoom and from the comfort of our home. So I'm just excited. Thank you for allowing us to be in your living rooms, be in your bedrooms, wherever it is that you're finding yourself. And we're all just kind of hanging out together. So
I know, it's so
um,
nice.
it is great. It is great. Now, we got to get down to a little business here, lady,
Yes.
because even
What's
though
that?
we try to do like 7 to 8, we do end up like vibing a little bit. So there's a not a hard stop unless somebody tells me there's a hard stop. Um, but Kimberly and I have done work together over the past couple of years after we got back together again. And again, because I do see a bunch of names that are newer. And of course, there's names as I'm scrolling down. Those of you that jumped on before I did my romper room hello, thank you so much again for joining us. I'm gonna be a dork because I want to say, like, okay, I thought that was a 51. So I just want to say thank you for so many people that are on with us, and that means there's 49 of you as of right now that are joining us for this
There
evening.
are?
Yes, that's what I just had to lean in because I can't see that far away.
Heidi ho, everybody.
So I know it kind of got rolling and people are going to jump in and out. But again, out of all of those people, even just a quick scroll, there's names that are new, which is wonderful. So part of this is to also let people know about some things that we've been doing and some things that we've got cooking. And we've got a big drop this evening as well. So I don't know. Where do we start? Do we start with curls and that whole story? Do we start with knit-alongs and how we got back together? Like, where do you want to start?
Let's talk about curls, because.
All right. So curls.
Okay.
I
All right,
feel
everyone, I guess I'm gonna take that one.
no, I was gonna be like, I'm like, I don't even know what to say about it these days, but it's like a monster. It's just like taken on its own life. And I only like to joke about it only because you also continually bring it up. That I feel that this was just a brilliant idea that this woman came up with, in the quiet of her own home, and then shared it with me. And then I'm like, oh my God, we gotta do this. And then how many times do we not believe in ourselves? The only reason why I'm saying this is because 12 Days of Christmas is exactly the same thing, except I didn't have anybody else pushing my ass to do it, right? At the 11th hour, I had to say to myself, no, I think it's a fun idea and I'm going to pull this together and I'm going to make it happen. Because sometimes, more than not, right? We all do that to ourselves. We've got ideas, we have things that we want to do, and then sometimes we just don't execute. And sometimes we need a little push, and sometimes we have to push ourselves. And in this instance, the curls, I thought was brilliant. And Kimberly's like, I don't know, like who's gonna like it? And I'm like, I think it's amazing. However, it still took us a year. And by us, I mean you. But it was a year after I even knew about it that I'm like, all right, no, we got to make this happen. And yeah, mostly because it was another joint thing that we could do together, which I just always look for those opportunities. And it's something that I always hope is mutually beneficial, but I feel like something that we always say whenever I get with this lady and I start talking, and I get excited and I get inspired, and then we just get all these great ideas. And so just sometimes there's those people that you love to work with. So I selfishly was like, no, we have to make this happen. People are going to like it. So now
I
I'll let
I
you.
really couldn't believe it. So I am a spinner and I'm really, really good at buying things. I mean, I have all the things.
Aren't we all both?
All the things. So I started buying fleeces and I love to wash the fleece because I think the transformation is what gets me excited. It's like when you take yarn and you make a garment, or you take yarn and you create a hat. I think it's
Wait,
the
wait. I have to interrupt you only because I said I wasn't going to look at chats, but this is going to be really important. This is what I love. So somebody who's new to us, obviously, which is great. She's like, "What are the curls?" And then Erin is like, "You are about to learn and be excited about curls."
Yay! Okay,
So
Nancy, this
you
is
got
for
to start
you.
from the beginning. There you go.
Being a spinner, one of the things that I wanted to do was take a fleece and spin it and make yarn and then design something. So it was like what do we call those? Sheep to
Keep the
shawl.
shawl, fleece to
Fleece to shawl,
fabric.
fleece
Like,
to five, fabric or whatever it is. Fleece to FO. And so what I wanted to do all I wanted to do was wash the fleece because I love to see that transformation. I also loved the way the fleece looked on the animal, and I was trying to figure out a way to take these beautiful curls and knit with them, but not have to do all the processing. So if you take a fleece, there's lots of different stages before it becomes that yarn. And so I took the fleece and did my favorite part of it and then figured out a way to make something with it. And so, are you ready, Nancy? This is for you. So, this is the sheeplocks wreath. And this is the original one. This is the OG. This is the one that I made, the first one I
thing.
made. Tabitha has one over there, and I have one here. This is one of Tabitha's fleeces.
That bow, that bow.
Oh, yeah, baby. And so I showed Tabitha. And she was, her brain, the way her brain works, all of a sudden she was like, wait, okay, wait. All right, what's the thing underneath? Is it knitted? How do we do it? Can you write a pattern? How do we do it? And she's like, where did you get the thing from underneath? How do you do it? I was like, it still took us a year. And by us, I mean me tell her how to do like to tell her all the stuff and to figure out how we could do it. And so we have, and by we I mean we have we
This
taught
time.
we taught a class at the Big E. But the great thing about this is, and this is what I love about the sheep locks wreath and knitting with sheep's locks, is that it is taking something, the fiber, and Tabitha as the shearer will tell you that that was sitting in her storage container because I've
and
seen it,
and loft.
and it wasn't doing anything. And so now we have something, the bear, from the animal right to your hands that you can use and make something with. So it started with a wreath, but then it became this other thing where right behind Tabitha's shoulder, you can see the lovely locks pop over. That is the same technique that you use to make this. I'm going to show you the back. Look how sexy that seam is. I love that stuff. Blows my dress up. But it's the same technique that you could use on, oh, that's shepherd's embrace. That's using long, for
I forgot the Mumford mitts. That's the only one I forgot.
the Mumford mitts. You could do a wee little stocking.
Or a big
Oh, a
stocking.
big stocking.
Or
Uh,
look, wait. Well, look, I hung mine in the tree. Can you see it? The little
oh, I
red one.
see it. So you could do stuff like that. So it's kind of taken off. Oh, Nancy, I see you like it. Thank you.
But
And
wait. Can I jump in? Because I just want to say, like, so as like Kimberly said, so from my point of view, for anybody who's on here, and maybe you don't know who I am, which is fine, that's not what this is about. But as a professional shearer, just like Kimberly was saying, there's certain breeds that have this really cool fleece. However, as a yarn, it's a little bit rustic. It's maybe a bit coarser to the hand. It's a more of an outer wear. So sometimes people struggle to embrace it, myself included. And so ever since Kimberly came up with this, even I have so much of a newer appreciation for shearing these sheep now. It's almost a bit obsessive, I will tell you, because now I get really mad if I'm shearing these sheep and the fleece is too dirty that, I know that could have been prevented. I'm like, these are curls that I could be using, but I can't because there's too much hay in it or too much vegetation or again, the story I always tell is I have a flock of Gotland sheep, which gives us this beautiful gray yarn, which we can turn it into yarn as well. And every year, twice a year, because these sheep are shorn twice a year, I would just discard these fleeces because the owners didn't care. And I just didn't really have an application for it. So now I'm shearing and you should see me. I'm like, wait. And I'm like, trying to, don't touch it. It is so bad that I'll be walking around the house, and if like a curl drops that I've washed, from drying it on the rack, I'm like, oh my God, it's a curl. And I'll pick it up.
So pretty, you guys.
It's bad, but you are right. And I think what's been so cool is for people who have chosen to take the raw curls that we do also sell and take the opportunity as a knitter, crocheter, to get in grassroots and look at that real fleece, smell that real fleece, right? And then wash that fleece and see the transformation from what it is like on the animal to what it ends up being like these gorgeous white curls really is crazy. And it's
Yeah.
not difficult.
It's not difficult at all. In fact, if you are interested in taking the journey from raw fleece to the sheep block, oh, look at this wee one.
That's the little wee one.
So this is the one that this is the 6-inch
Yeah.
wreath. Wait, let's show the sexy seam. We have decided, and by we, I mean Tabitha pushed me, to do an online class. So we had one a couple weeks ago, the 17th was.
How fun was that? No, and this is not, guys, we are not trying to sell you on anything. We had the best time.
Had the best time. It was so much fun. And so Tabitha has the kits for this. It would be this color though.
Yeah.
Which is absolutely stunning. It's not one color, it's like 4 colors in one.
And I love when you actually still get the yellow, which really is just lanolin that hasn't come out.
But
it's like gold.
It totally looks gold. Goes with the bow, accessorize. So,
Yeah, so
she loved the class attaching my
good.
knitting. Yay!
Good,
Really,
Kelly.
it really was a super fun class. And we're having another one in January. And the thing that's great about it, that I think about the wreath in particular, is
Thank you, Erin.
thank you, Erin. At the wreath in particular, I have it in my knitting room, but I have given it to my neighbor next door is our girls rode horses together, so we were always on farms, and she loves farms. She had sheep growing up, and so I made her one for Christmas. She started to cry because she was like, "Oh my God," and it really, this wreath you can get done in an afternoon, with once you learn, the technique. Eileen is signed up for the January class. Exciting. So we are having a January class, and it is the 8th, I believe.
The 8th. It is the 8th, yes.
And
It's a Wednesday evening,
Wednesday?
which, so we'll say, Kimberly is going to be missing her vestry meeting for it.
No.
And I have to change our community night. So for anybody that is new to us, the second Wednesday of every month, we usually have our community night, which is just our online Zoom knit hangout. So because we made a commitment to do the class, then community night will be the week after, which is going to be an important one that you're going to be part of. So just letting you guys know that. I do want to say, so I'm going to jump in here for 1 second, just so people, I hate to kind kind of like make this businessy, pitchy. But one of the things that I wanted to let anybody who's new know about, we gotta have and make things a little bit of fun. So if you missed in the beginning, this right now is our keepsake basket. So as this program has evolved, meaning the 12 days of Christmas, I get donations from each of the guests that have something they can donate. And then this is something that you can win at the end of the 12 days. I haven't totaled the value of it, but there's yarn, there's project bags, there's sweatshirts, there's books, there's coupon codes. Now, how you get in for the basket, and I've purposely aligned things that you guys are not even going to have to pay shipping for, stuff you're going to want to do anyway, and that's going to get you tickets to go in for this. So just like my events that I have here on the farm, which many of you cannot be here for that because you're not to the local area, we do where if you shop here at our open house events, for every $10 you get a ticket, and then you could put those tickets into baskets that you could win. And I had so many people that would be like, I can never get there, I can never win those amazing baskets. So that's where I incorporated the idea into this program. So throughout the 12 days of Christmas, for every $10 that you spend on our site, you get a ticket to go in for the keepsake basket. Now, here's the thing. Right now, let's just say you're like, wow, that class sounds amazing. You can jump on. The class is $30, and that gets you the 2-hour class. It gets you the 1 ounce of locks. It gets you the 6-inch wee wreath in order for you to be able to make it along with the pattern. So for $30, you get all of that. And then that's 3 tickets that already goes in for the basket. I'm like, and wait, there's more.
I was going to say, and wait.
So then we also need to tell you about our other drop, which is going to get you 7 tickets, and you're going to want to do it anyway. But so I will say though, the class is capped at 20. I don't know how many we have. We might be at maybe about 10-ish. I haven't really promoted it because we were so busy with the other stuff and the holidays. So do keep that in mind if it's something that you want to jump on with us. That is on our site. And there was something else I was going to say. Oh, registration for that though, guys, closes on New Year's Day. And that's because I need a week to be able to mail you your supplies just so we can make sure you get it in time. So just keep that in mind as something you're gonna wanna act on fast if you wanna join us. So, all right. And then, did you feel like you said everything?
I'm answering questions in the chat, sorry.
No, you're actually better than I am. My keyboard is not close enough. And I also, it's fine. I love it. So please, answer questions. And I do know friends, our community, our lifers are helping each other out and answering questions. So I do appreciate that as well. So that's our curls class, which really has taken off. And again, and probably because I cut you off, the really cool thing about it is that when people learn the technique, right? Like then they're saying to us, oh, I could see it in a hat. We talked about having it as like a home accessory, like doing it on a pillow. And somebody said that on the online class. I was like, oh, I know, we already talked about that. So there's just so many things that once you learn the technique, you can just use your own creativity and apply it to anything that you like. So
I'm thinking of dyeing some locks to red and making a square pillow, but that it would have a red heart on the inside, so it would be white around it, and then the red heart. Wouldn't that be cute in a pillow?
that would be cute. And that's the thing too, is like, I know everyone looks at the wreath and thinks Christmas, but as Kimberly usually will say, like, don't forget it can be anything. She just has it in her knitting room. You can put different colored bows on it. You could attach other things to it to celebrate or make it more festive to other holidays. You don't have to buy curls from me because I am not going down the dyeing rabbit hole. So if you want colored curls, you can buy them from somebody else. We just want you to celebrate the sheep that give us these curls, the people that have these animals and are involved in that aspect, and work it into your knitting. So wherever you get them from, it's just everybody coming together with something cool that Kimberly came up with. And that's what's beautiful about it.
So we have 2 people in the chat asking about the knit along. When are we going to talk about it?
All right, we were purposely trying to drag it out.
I know. Let's just get it out there.
It was not on purpose, but I do have so obviously, if you don't know, I am wearing our mother's hug, a mother's hug, but our mother's hug. And this was our third Life and Rainbows knit along piece. So I'll just say that. And then I'll also let you know that I have the inspiration next to me for this fourth one, but I'm going to let you go and take it away.
Okay, so this year, the fourth year, we are going to be doing a color work. You have an option. You always have options with me, but we're going to learn how to do color work. Those of you might want to do a color work sweater, and those of you might want to do a color work cowl. You will receive both patterns.
Sorry, don't kill me. Can you just dial it back for people that are brand new to it? And especially because so many people think knit along, it's really a workshop. So, like, tell everybody what
Okay.
you do.
So it is, we call it a knit along because the alliteration is better for the things that we want to name it, but really it's a learning workshop. What Tabitha and I do is you team up and we come up with something, and by we now I mean I. Uh,
I was
I
ready for that.
I design something or two, and we usually roll that out at Vogue Knitting Live, so you'll see a picture of what it is or something like that. And then it is 4 weeks of Zoom, 2-hour Zoom, so that's 8 hours. And I do tutorial videos, and I teach the techniques that you need to do this garment that we need. So last year was a mother's hug that Tabitha has on. And so talked a lot about lace knitting and reading lace charts and knitting and doing I-cord bind off. So there are lots of techniques that you will learn. And then we all do it together. All the Zooms are recorded. There is a private Facebook group where that's like my fun. It's so fun to be in the private Facebook group because it becomes another community.
It's kind
And
of like the chat here. Everybody goes back and forth and talks to each other.
exactly, and so we usually do something that it has to do with family and women and
But we even said not intentionally, right? We just
oh, it
talked
just always kind
about
of comes
yeah.
out. Yeah, it just I don't know, it's been like an organic kind of collaboration between the two of us. So, you also would receive 15 minutes of free one-on-one Zoom help with me via Zoom. So you can be anywhere in the world and take the class. And so you everything will be designed with Tabitha's yarns, but you don't have to use Tabitha's yarns. And that's why there is a price for the knit along workshop. And I don't know, am I missing anything
No,
else?
I think that the only biggest thing is that we keep driving home the workshop part because I think the biggest thing that we hear are two things I feel like on my end, as always, like I don't want to say like newbie beginner, but like, look, I'm not spending my time knitting, so I can appreciate more sometimes from somebody's point of view than from Kimberly, who, sometimes you forget or you don't think about what people's stumbling blocks might be. So, the thing is that I think especially what I love about this one is if you don't want to make a sweater, you can make a cowl. You are not supposed to know how to do color work. If you do, great. But the tutorials and the videos that she puts together, it's meant to be something in which you can learn and maybe challenge yourself, maybe learn a new skill. So try not to be intimidated by that. And the second thing is, it doesn't matter when you do it, right?
Right.
So many people are like, I hate knit alongs. I don't knit that fast. I don't have time. That's why it's so important every year we do this to really drive home there's no timeline and stand by that because at least buying into the workshop means you get all of this stuff forever in perpetuity. So if you want to do it 2 years from now, great. We've even had some people say, I'm never going to make it. I just want to jump on board and hang out. Great. Like it's about so many things. So just don't get intimidated by, the concept of who's going to be done first. And someone just said that to me the other day too. They're like, I just get, so discouraged when I see people that have already started or they're done already. And like, you got to stay in your lane, right? And just go at your pace, be confident with yourself, and just enjoy the process. So that's, I think, what I want to really get across.
And that's why it's wonderful to have the tutorials, and they're each, you know, their own kind of thing. Um, it's just great to have them, and they're in the Facebook group, and that Facebook group is there forever. So, you don't have to worry about a timeline. Everybody has their own timeline. Now I'm seeing in the chat, Colleen's quite not finished with her mother's hug, but she's close. Like, you know, that's totally fine. Erin hasn't even made hers yet, but I know she has yarn because I think I helped her buy it. Eileen says she's always learning something new, and she's been knitting 50 plus years. Eileen, you're so sweet.
Amazing. And I appreciate those of you that are, taking the initiative to drop that in the chat and to say where you're at with the process, to help other people, feel a little more comfortable about that. Can I share the story and share the inspiration?
Yeah. Elizabeth writes, as someone who has lost count of my whips, I just do the knit along for the hot gossip and hair tutorials.
Honestly, Elizabeth, I was totally thinking about you when I said that I know some people join on, they're not even going to knit it, and they just want to hang out with us. And that's awesome. I absolutely love it. I really do. And that's the thing, right, guys? Like, we have a lot of fun. I obviously just am pretty much the comedic sidekick. However, do sometimes provide the inspiration for the projects. Sometimes it's also my yarn, although it doesn't have to be. But I'd love to share the inspiration and then tell you guys a little bit about it. So this is nothing that we've shared before. So that's part of the fun about the 12 Days of Christmas is you get the sneak peek, and you also, I will say, if you do jump on board, this year we're doing a soft launch, which is tonight, and that's also going to get you first access, to yarn coming down the pike as well. So many of you have seen me wearing this sweater before. And every time I wear this sweater, people are always asking me, what is that sweater? What is the pattern? Where did you get it? And I will say, like, over the years, I've really wanted to kind of have it deconstructed and to have it done as a pattern. And so we finally arrived. So I had sent the sweater to Kimberly so she could use it for her inspiration. This is a sweater that was hand knit. Christopher is my husband. Christopher is her husband. So her husband is Mac. Mine goes by Christopher. So Christopher's grandmother knit this. Now, Christopher's mom doesn't knit, so nobody else in the family, nobody on my side of the family knit, but this was Christopher's grandmother, the actual sweater that she hand knit. She actually has a couple of them like this because on Christmas, Christopher's mom, Robin Boris, and this is Phyllis Boris who made this. So Robin was wearing another version on Christmas for Christmas dinner. I even actually have a pair, I should have brought them, but I have a little pair of scissors. That was hers too. So they gifted me a number of things, when I, first got together with Christopher. Actually, as a stupid side note, but including this bracelet. So back when the women were doing the metal work when men went to war, this is a bracelet that his grandmother made, and I have a couple other versions. And many people, when you look at it up close, I know it's kind of reflecting, it's got like knit stitches.
It is.
Yeah, and I have a couple of them that have like different stitches, so to speak. So anyway, so this is our inspiration. We don't have a name yet. Wait, we talked about, I think we said we're gonna maybe, did we come up with a name? No, we just talked about the inspiration.
Yeah, but we talked about
Because you said, what did you tell me about your grandmother? You said
my
you had a
grandmother was a
grandmother
knitter.
story. Yeah.
Oh,
So
yeah. So we are going to incorporate grandmothers into this.
yeah.
Strong, beautiful women. But I think we were looking up names. Oh yeah, we did, but we didn't choose a name yet.
No, we didn't. But
I'll
what we
let
were
you know.
because when we were talking, again, we were like, like just not even planned, right? I was just like, this was the inspiration. You were like, my grandmother, and then all of a sudden we're like, well, that's the theme. It just organically comes together. This is the inspiration, and Kimberly, of course, I'm not even going to say we, will be putting together something beautiful for you guys. And we call this a soft launch because really it's in the development stages. Have no fear, it will be done. I have already sent yarn to Kimberly, and our official launch is going to be our official launch is going to be at the real live, not virtual, but the real live of Vogue Knitting New York, which I think maybe the past two knit alongs, 2 and 3, we've launched there. So part of the significance that we decided, call it the Gigi.
That's what I called my grandmother, Gigi.
Oh, really?
Mm.
That's
Not the knitter,
amazing.
not the knitter, the one that lived to be 100. My father's.
So what we decided to do this year, guys, was do a soft launch because also I thought, well, hey, those of you, and there's so many of you that have shared with us, like, we don't care what it is. We know we're going to be on board, which is amazing. And so now you've seen the sneak peek. This is the inspiration. Doesn't mean it's going to exactly look like that. If this sounds great to you and you know that you want to jump on board with us, registration is now open just for the Knit Along, aka workshop. It is going to be our sport weight yarn, my sport weight yarn, which really is more like a DK. So you can jump on now. In the past, for those of you that have been with us before, I've attached the workshop with the yarn and kind of made it all of a package. And this year we're breaking that apart. It's always been 2 options, but regardless, even if you want to wait to utilize my yarn, you can do that at a later point in time. If you want to jump on board now for the $75 workshop, again, strategically for you guys, that's 7 tickets that you can get in for the keepsake basket if you want. I purposely left the registration closed until we started this because, again, I just thought, well, hey, now here's the thing I want to make sure you guys know, because I do have some homework stuff. I hate to make it that, but anything that you guys do in the 12 days of Christmas, any purchase that you make, you need to put in the comments TDOC or write me a note or shoot me a text. You have to let us know, because if other people are purchasing things on the site, I don't want to just give some random person the opportunity to get in for the keepsake basket. So whether it's the wreath class, whether it's jumping on for the knit along, and then other things that are coming down the pike this week, you need to make sure you let us know TDOC so we can give you that credit for the tickets going in for the keepsake basket. So that is there. It's up and ready to go for you guys. Now, the other thing that actually kind of coolly ties this all in, and again, not necessarily intentional, is I do have yarn on the site right now. Jasper is in Kimberly's hands. That's what she had just showed in the screen there. It's like a beautiful, rich chocolate tweed. There is also Obsidian. So these are 2 sport weight yarns that I have currently online that are in volume enough for you guys to be able to jump on board, because we're probably looking at the vicinity of like 6 skeins for a small size sweater if you're going to do the sweater. But again, if you don't want to do a big project or that's cost prohibitive, there's going to be the cowl, and that's going to be a 2 skein, contrasting colors. That's going to be a 2 skein project. So there's all different levels for people, but as many of you know, we've had some challenges and volume of yarn has been an issue. So those are 2, but another guest that we're going to have on later for the 12 Days of Christmas is Mary Jean Packer, who is the owner-operator of Bat and Kill Fibers. And I have now started working with MJ. And so she is currently making yarn for me out of wool that I've shorn from various farms. So I'm actually really excited to get a little bit more back into grassroots of things that I actually shear, making yarn from it. And they're also doing some dyeing for me. So I've got some yarn that is being made and dyed. I've got some yarn that I grabbed from them that's just being dyed. So we've got a lot of things coming down the pike specifically for this knit along. So if you jump on now or prior to our official launch, then you're going to be in the know, and you'll get an email, and you'll get first crack, which is going to be at also community night. So you're going to get first crack at being able to get these yarns as soon as they're in my hands. You'll get to meet MJ later on in this program. So you're going to hear a lot about what she does and what they do at the mill, and the process that goes into, bringing this yarn to you. So many of my guests this week kind of all tie in. And again, I did not plan it that way, but I'm super excited for you guys to meet her and hear about that and the person that's going to be bringing some new yarn. And we're trying to get some done that I actually might have to drive up to go get it, because that's how bad I want it in my hands. So I don't know if it's going to be in my hands by the time she's a guest, but obviously we will definitely have the yarn before Vogue Knitting Live, and we want to make sure we get it to you before it comes out. So I'm super excited. I had Kimberly actually help me pick out some colors, because I'm like, oh my God, there's too many choices. What do I do?
It
So
was so fun. I mean, those are the things that we did when she came to visit. Um, I can't wait till you come back when I don't have to get a video out every day and,
but I really appreciated that, and I did like it. And actually, Kimberly has offered to just like help me make sure to try and get some things done. So yeah, when I can get there and get there a little earlier, and we have a little more time to spend together, we'll have a little fun. But hopefully, we can kind of ramp up things a little bit. Now, Kimberly also will be with me, so I will see her for Vogue Knitting Live. So if anybody is in the vicinity to get to New York City, Times Square, that is the 16th through the 17th through the 19th. 17th through the 19th of January, Friday night, Saturday, Sunday. So we'll be there together for Vogue Knitting Live. And that's always where the reveal is. So I won't see the pieces until she shows up with them in her hands, which is always really fun. So we usually have like a reveal video that we do for that. So I mean, I feel like really, I mean, I don't know. I'm like, these are a whole lot of drops. These are going to be like some hard acts to follow. And before we lose anybody, and I know before, I mean, we got to wrap up with some fun stuff. Let me just get some of the business stuff out of the way, because I hate that, but I want to make sure everybody has got it. So don't forget, guys, that this is recorded. It will be uploaded, so you can always, oh, thank you, Kimberly, for saying my booth is the best. I appreciate it.
I do love you.
Thank you. So a couple of other things that I will continue to let you guys know. I know we've got some new people with us, and maybe you missed some of the sales that we do. So from now until the end of 12 Days of Christmas, you guys have a special code if you want to take advantage of 50% off my skincare. So that's whether it's my lippies, my body butters, my salves, my soaps, my bath bombs, my steamers. The only thing it's going to exclude, couldn't get that out. The only thing it's going to exclude are my loofahs, my llama loofahs, because I have to make those by hand. So, and
In the middle. In the middle.
oh yeah, no, like no, so this is only skincare. This is
Okay.
only skincare.
Did you
So
say
the
50?
yes, 50% off. Well, we always, I figured there's new people. We always do for Black Friday and Cyber Monday. I was like, look, this wasn't even intentional. It's just before we got started, I was like, I'm dry.
No.
So yeah, we do always have 50% off sales. So maybe somebody missed it, or maybe you want to stock up, because for me and other people, these are must-haves to get through the winter, and it's only just started. So the code, guys, is TDOC, 12 Days of Christmas, TDOC 2450. So I can't publicize that anywhere. That is just for you to know here, because we don't want anyone else to take advantage of it. So anytime you want to shop throughout the week, obviously, if you're using that code, we know that you're part of the 12 Days of Christmas. And don't forget, those purchases after discounts and everything will go in for the keepsake basket as well. So that's just my little thank you to you guys. Of course, there's plenty of other things on the site if you're new to us, but that's a little something that I can get for you. Now, another thing we have to do, and then because we'll still have some fun stuff, but Kimberly, I need you, and there's still 46 people here. I mean, 48, but 2 of us are us. So I need you, I don't care what number, I mean, dare I say, try not to make it like 42, but you're going to pick a number, and I am going to close out the chat, because I'm going to scroll down. So just pick any number, and then based on the order, don't anybody move. If you sign off, it's going to switch everything. So pick a number, and I'm going to scroll down, and we're going to get a winner.
28.
28. All right, hang on, folks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then hang on, hang on. 11, 12. See, I'm doing this legit. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. So there's not a last name here, but it is Megan, Megan. So I'm going to write that down. And if Megan, you could do me a favor and drop in the chat your last name and your email address. That will get you a $20 store credit to be able to shop with us at Life. So that's just a little fun thing that we do every night. So every night you guys can be on board, and if you hang until the end, because of course you don't get to do that at the end, then you get that opportunity. So again, Megan, when you can, oh, look at everybody congratulating Megan. So drop in, everyone's congratulating you, and I just need to see Megan. So do me a favor, make sure you drop that in, because I am not totally positive. I think I know who it is, but I want to be able to see that. So every night we're going to do this. Then also don't forget, guys, on the wrap-up party, there will be trivia questions. So I'm going to come up with a question about my conversation with Kimberly tonight. And then the first one to answer that question, those will be tangible prizes that we will be sending to you. And so that's another opportunity for you guys to also win some fun things. So that, I think, is pretty much all of my business stuff. Just reminding you guys about different ways to have fun, join on board. I see you guys kind of chatting back and forth here, and only I'm just gonna, and also I will say out loud, if Megan is here and can drop your information or get a hold of me, DM me on social media, we can definitely make sure that we get you your store credit, or I'll keep an eye out for you on another
For
program.
me too. You can, I'll send it over too. If
Yeah, I
it
mean,
looks like she's on her phone, so that
might not allow you. So yeah, so Megan, if you can't type it in, just reach out to either one of us. We're easy to get a hold of. We want to make sure we get that for you. So yeah, so that's, I mean, that's kind of the things that we wanted to drop. I'm going to end with some fun things, but make sure you guys check out our calendar, and remember tomorrow night. I feel like it's the long awaited Kevin and Ray from Needles at the Ready podcast. Last year, one of them got COVID, so they had to cancel out. But last year also, this night, I came down with a horrible bug because Jill got it, then I got it. I got to tell you, Kimberly, the other day I was like shopping, and I was like somewhere in this tiny little bakery just to get a round loaf to do spinach dip in. And we're like crammed in there, and people are breathing on me. And I'm not usually that kind of weird about it, but I was like, people, I don't want to get sick again, because a lot of people are getting sick right now again with some
yeah.
sort of flu and stomach bug. So fingers crossed. Kevin and Ray seem to be healthy. They've been in touch, and they've managed to get through the season this time, as myself as well. So they will be with me tomorrow night. And then we've got a really fun lineup after that. I've actually have two people back to back that are non-industry related, but just to throw a little drop, I've got customers of mine that have this gorgeous farm in New Hampshire up on Gap Mountain. Beautiful, beautiful views. And they have sheep, and they have a llama, one llama left that I shear, but they are involved in the Newfoundland pony conservation. And so they are now breeding, and they have these Newfoundland ponies on their farm because her husband is from Newfoundland originally. And this is a very, very rare, endangered species that they are working to preserve as part of the conservancy. So they're going to be guests of ours. And then the next night after that, I have a high school student who used the llamas going to camp as part of her Gold Scout, her kind of end of her time with Girl Scouts as
Yeah.
her project. So she's going to talk to us about how the llamas went to camp and spent their summer at camp, and how she was involved in making that as part of her project. And she had asked me, hey, can you help me to get this out to an audience? I'm like, you know what? I can do one better. You could be one of my guests. And I think it would be amazing. And so her mom and her are going to join us. So that's just kind of things that I've got coming down the pike for you guys that I hope that you're really going to enjoy. Aside from, of course, the rest of our industry professionals and different things that we've got coming down the pike. So before we wrap up, I just also want to make sure to let you guys know that we've got some other drops. I have an indie die drop coming for you guys. We are doing another lecture series with Linda Courtwright. That registration is also already open because many of you have met her also through this program, and many of you joined us in the lecture series last year on Zoom. So that's already there. If you know about it and you enjoyed it last year, just jump on board. Otherwise, you will meet her on New Year's Eve. She will be with me. Again, I told you about MJ from Bat and Kill, and Crystal Hyatt that you invited me to.
Oh,
So,
yay!
right. So now we're all kind of doing different work together. We are part of something that she does, you and I. So again, another way of like getting new friends together. So she'll be with us, of course, as well. And so just lots of fun drops coming down the pike. So that's what I wanted to be able to share. But now I feel like we got to wrap it up with some more of like our fun stuff. So what do you got going on for yourself this coming week? Now that you done with holiday stuff, do you have any other family to get together with?
So my oldest son had he's in Deer Valley in Utah, and so he is coming home on Sunday. So we're gonna have Christmas then, and then my other son, Graham, his girlfriend is coming on New Year's Day. So we'll do another little Christmas celebration then. Um, but for now, I have my Advent socks. I knit Advent socks and.
Are those the ones you've been working on for your Vlogmas?
Mhm. I just have a toe on one and a heel and a half on the other. I did an afterthought heel, and I put that I did the tutorial for it, and that's going to go on the video that's going to happen tomorrow now because
So when does Vlogmas end for you?
it already ended, but I'm a little behind. So I have the 24th and 25th that I'm gonna do, and that is going to be on tomorrow will be the last video uh that I'm going to do for Vlogmas, but my regular scheduled vlogs will be on Thursdays. So if you wanted to go to YouTube and watch the past Vlogmas, you're welcome to do that. And then the regularly scheduled ones will be on Thursdays. And please like the videos and subscribe. That is a non-monetary way that you can help somebody.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, look, we have a great time doing this, but make no mistake that we really appreciate people supporting us in many different ways. And I also want to say, at least from my perspective, and I know from Kimberly's as well, supporting us doesn't mean you always have to buy something.
Correct.
Supporting us just means that you're here and you're celebrating us, and you're here and you're showing up. I mean, to see 51 people, being here with us tonight, that's amazing. That is support in itself. That's the
That's
encouragement
exciting.
I need. I'm sure it's the encouragement Kimberly needs. Yes, we get excited about what we do, but we also do this, not for ourselves, but, to be able to share the joy with other people. Hopefully you can see our joy, not only to interact and work with each other, but, the joy that we have to be able to bring people together in so many different ways. So don't ever think it's about, what you drop or what you buy, because there's so many more ways that you can show love and support, and those mean just as much, sometimes even a little bit more. Especially leading up to this program, so many of you that were like, I love this and looking forward to it. Sometimes when you're really tired and you've got a lot going on, that's just the extra push that you need. Don't you agree?
I agree. 1000%.
So I'm sure as Kimberly is in the home stretch of her Vlogmas, drop her a DM, let her know how much you're enjoying it, give her that extra push to finish it and to get it out there. I know she wants you to be sure to like and subscribe and comment because I do also believe that there was something going on with your Vlogmas that like people commenting or they had a
There's a
win.
big prize. So from day one of Vlogmas until, tomorrow, well, not tomorrow, but if you leave a comment on any of them, there's going to be a random winner chosen, and they're going to get a gigantic prize. Gigantic. It's huge.
You're like huge, big.
I guess I'll tell all you guys. It is and the entire advent from Chelsea Yarns from not last year, the year before.
Wow.
Yeah, I have it. You want to see? Hold, please.
Guys, honestly, she didn't even ask me to talk about this, but I was watching her Vlogmas. So I told Kimberly while I was driving back and forth to the mill to drop off fiber because I wanted to get it done for you guys. I was trying to catch up on Vlogmas while I was driving. I just had it in the background, but there was one point in time where I kind of like swerved off the road and I was like, Kimberly, I got to shut you down before I kill myself. But I knew that she was talking about people commenting and that there was a prize to win.
It's the
Woo!
it's the 2022 après ski. There's extras in here. There's like a little bag and a mug. And so you have tonight.
Start commenting.
Have until tonight to go
Plus,
put some comments like crazy. Yeah, that's gonna go out next week. That's so it's really exciting. And the reason why, not because I don't love it, because I loved it. I just have so many that and I
and
want,
so another shameless plug. So the quilted pullover behind you, isn't that what you made out of Advents?
yes.
Yes. Right,
And
because so many people were like, what do I do with all these little skeins?
there's a lot of Advent things to do. You can do lots of shawls and things like that, but I'm a garment designer. And so this is the same thing. But it is, so there's two versions. There's a cardigan version, which is this one.
I
And
love the colors.
this was Suburban Stitchers Pink Christmas. But
That's
you know
cool.
who has a pink box right now is Botanical Yarns,
Really?
friends. I'm having a hard time like not purchasing it because I think I'm going to. It might have hopped into my cart. I don't know, but this is a great one. So this is also this is the the quilted cardigan, and that's the quilted pullover. And I made the one for my sister, and she sent me pictures. Wait, can I show you guys? There's a couple of you still on here. Can
Yeah.
I
And
show
I
you?
know Julie just said that the quilted pullover is great, was very fun to make. I know Dawn was wearing her version of one of them tonight as well.
Look at my pretty sister.
Oh, love it. Look how, oh my God, you guys look so much alike. And of course, I had a chance to meet her in person, which was so cool. She surprised you at the Fiber Festival, remember, at the Big E.
I cried my eyes out. Look at her. She's so pretty.
Looks beautiful. And the
Isn't
colors
it
look great on
great?
her.
They
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
Oops. So anyway, and for those of you, I'm gonna put it on, but I have a prayer bowl that I put people's names in that just need prayers or happy thoughts. And my nephew, my sister, her son had asked if his name could go in my prayer bowl. And I was like, sure, I picked that boy like almost every day. And so I said, Griffin, can you have your mother send me a picture of you so that I could like put it on if you want. Like if you don't have to be, because it's very popular, Griffin. I don't know, you want everybody to see who you are. And he just was laughing, but this is Griffin. Wait,
Oh, got the thumb.
this is Griffin,
I love it.
my nephew.
Well, hopefully he got some good juju from it.
Oh, Ruth Ann says, I figure Griffin must have really needed prayer because he kept coming out of the bowl. I have to tell you. So he's the youngest. My sister has three and he's the youngest. And so his sister Emily sent me a message, and she was like, Aunt Kay, they call me Kay, Aunt Kay, thank you so much for praying Griffin back to being a nice person. Oh, so funny. Anyway, listen, look it's 8:30. Tabitha, I was like, what am I going to talk about for an hour and a half? I don't
You always say that.
like, is this like a 2-hour one? Like, how long is this going to be? You were like, no, it's going to be an hour. Maybe if we get on a roll, it'll be like an hour and a half. And I'm like, I just looked at the time thinking it was like, 8:05. It's 8:30
I know, I know.
already.
I was watching the time. I was watching the time. And you know what? I mean, for the most part, we did start to drop off a little bit. But look, everyone's still hanging in here and I appreciate it. But we are going to wrap it up because well, first of all, I could talk forever. Everybody knows that about me. And at the same time, of course, we always have a really great vibe and have a lot of fun. And, I feel like we throw in some fun, like, just mishap and stuff, and then at the same time we're filling people in on the things that we're doing and what we've got cooking, and hoping that some of you will choose to join us, of course, for what we've got coming down the pike. So I'll be excited to see who'll be joining us for the wreath class and for the knit along, and who's going to be joining me for the rest of the 12 days of Christmas. I appreciate having all of you guys here with me. It means more than you know. Really, it really, really does. So, with that, ma'am, I know you got to finish some things, and I got to finish some things, and I've got a guest. Actually, I'm surprised. I texted her to see if she wanted to jump in, but I've got Alex here with me
Yeah.
for of the nights of the 12 days of Christmas. So I'm sure she'll be jumping on. If you don't know who Alex is, you'll have to stay tuned for another one to learn about that as well. So I appreciate everybody. We love you. We thank you for all your great energy, and have a great night.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks, Tabitha.
Thank you, Kimberly, always.